If you've ever struggled with weak volume, throat soreness after speaking or singing, trouble projecting, or feeling like your voice just doesn't carry, even after trying diaphragmatic breathing, projection tips, or placing the sound of the mask, this video is for you. For years, I tried all of that. None of it fixed the core issue. Then I discovered one correction that changed everything. Not instantly, but reliably. And it simplified voice production down to one thing. I sang in choirs in high school and college, and I constantly dealt with sore throat, vocal fatigue, not being heard clearly. I was told to project more, aim my voice at the back of the wall, breathe from the diaphragm, place the sound forward. But here was the problem. I could never tell which of those things actually mattered. And I couldn't think about 5 different techniques at the same time while trying to sing or speak. Conscious attention is limited. You get maybe one thing. So if voice depends on juggling 6 instructions at once, it's not going to work in real life. Then I noticed something interesting. About 80% of people who speak well, clearly, confidently, with projection, have never had vocal training. They don't know what diaphragmatic breathing means. They don't know what mask placement means. And yet, their voice works. That doesn't mean training is useless. It means the system already knows how to work when nothing is blocking it. That changed how I thought about everything. Maybe the problem wasn't that I needed more techniques. Maybe the problem was that something was interfering. Here's what I discovered. The single highest leverage correction for me was this: keeping the front of my neck relaxed while making sound. Now, I need to define that carefully. When I say relaxed front of neck, I don't mean breathy. I don't mean limp. I don't mean collapsing posture. And I don't mean weakening the sound. I mean removing unnecessary squeezing in the front of the neck while the sound continues. For me, that squeezing was the root kink in the system. And once that kink was removed, projection, resonance, and breath coordination improved automatically. Not because I trained them directly, but because the system no longer had to compensate. Let me show you what I mean. Place your fingers gently over the front of your neck. That surface area your fingers cover, that's what we're working with. You can lower your hand now. Now, let's first feel what relaxation actually feels like, somewhere easier to control. Hold one hand out in front of you. Gently tighten it for 1 second, just enough to notice. Now stop tightening. Let it soften. Notice that shift from tension to ease. That feeling of ease is our reference. Now let's transfer that to the neck. Very gently tighten the front of your neck for 1 second, just enough to notice. Now stop tightening. Let it soften. We're not dropping the head. We're not collapsing posture. We're simply removing unnecessary squeezing in the front of the neck. Feel that ease again. Now, keeping that ease, say ah, and sustain it for 3 to 5 seconds. Ah. As you hold the sound, notice whether the front of your neck stays soft. If it grabs or tightens, don't fight it. Just stop tightening and let it soften again while the sound continues. That's the skill. When the front of the neck stays relaxed during sound, the rest of the system doesn't have to compensate. That's why projection improves. That's why resonance improves. You're not adding technique, you're removing obstruction. Here's how you make this automatic. Set aside 15 minutes a day. Take a book, a novel, a poem, anything readable. You're going to alternate between normal speech and slow motion focus. Here's the loop. Read a sentence normally. Choose one word from that sentence. Say that word in slow motion. As you sustain each sound, keep the front of your neck soft. If it tightens, release it while continuing the sound. Here's an example of a word in slow motion. Then read the full sentence normally again. Then move to the next sentence. Don't do this for every word. That's too intense. One focused word per sentence is enough. The goal isn't to sound perfect during practice. The goal is to train your nervous system to keep the front of the neck relaxed while making sound. At first, this feels deliberate. That's normal. With repetition, it becomes automatic, just like learning to drive. At first, you think about everything. Eventually, it runs on its own. Before you start, record yourself reading a paragraph. That's your baseline. After 2 weeks of daily practice, record the same paragraph. Most people notice more ease, less strain, clearer sound. At 6 weeks, you'll usually notice better endurance, more consistent projection, less awareness of your throat while speaking. If you don't notice improvement, it usually means the release isn't happening consistently during sound, not that your voice is broken. By the way, this won't fix structural medical issues, neurological problems, or acute injury. But for the majority of people dealing with tension-based vocal issues, this removes the main obstruction. You don't need to control your voice more. You don't need 10 techniques. You need to stop fighting your own system. Remove the kink. Let the system do what it already knows how to do. That's the one thing voice fix.